Okay, we started with it. I just need to adjust the configuration 1 second. Yeah. So are you able to see my screen, Aryan? Okay, let me share my screen. So today I plan to start with operators. Okay. So what are the types of operators we have in programming? So we have various types of operators. Let me make the font a bit bigger. So operators in programming. Okay. So this is too big. So we have arithmetic operators. Okay. Then we have relational operators. Then we have, you can say, assignment operators. Then we have logical operators. Okay, yeah. Relational, or you can say comparison. Comparison operator. Then we also have a operator called as a ternary operator, called as conditional operator. Operator. Okay, so we have these types of operators basically. So arithmetic operators we know: plus, minus, multiply, divide, raise to, and mod, right? These are the arithmetic, these tasks we all know, right? Relational, equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, correct? Assignment operators, see, to understand assignment operator, you should first understand what is an expression. Okay, once you understand what is an expression, then assignment operator should be easy. So anything which has a equal to is an expression, is a any statement which has a equal to sign, single equal to or not double equal to. Double equal to comes under the comparison. Single equal to has a is called as a expression, and it has two parts, right? LHS and RHS. This equal to will have two parts, LHS and RHS. Okay. So on the RHS, you can have a variable, you can have a constant. Yeah, on the RHS side, you can have a variable, you can have a constant, you can have variable, constant, you can have a variable and a constant, both. You can have constant and a constant. You can have in any permutation you can have on the RHS. Constant and constant. And you can have variable and variable. In any order, okay? And one more variable, blah blah blah. In any permutation you can have on the RHS, but on the LHS compulsory you will have a variable. On the LHS compulsory only what? Only variable. On the LHS you cannot experiment. Here only variable. On the RHS you can have any permutation. Okay, and in between you should have a equal to. You should have a equal to. So what happens is the programming compiler, it will evaluate the RHS, and whatever answer it gets, it will store in the variable on the LHS, right? Like we did yesterday for area of for simple integer we did. Okay, see over here. So it evaluated the RHS first, correct? And whatever answer it got, 4, 1, 2, 5, it stored in the variable on the LHS. So on the LHS, always there will be a, on the LHS, always there will be a variable. Okay, so now you got to understand this very thoroughly. This will help you in your programming concept. So now let's say I have three variables, okay, A, B and C. Am I still in the, okay, let's say I have three variables A, B and C. So I say over here integer A equals to 10, integer B equals to 20 and integer C, let's say. So what is in A now? 10. And what is in B? What is in C? Garbage value. So this has 10, this has 20 and this has garbage. Any garbage it has. Now if I say A plus B, what is the answer? And I say C equals to. Now what will happen? Now what will the C compiler do now? So you write, see what you write and what you read. Okay, that is very very important in programming to understand. What you write and what you read. You will write the variable name. What you will write? And you will read the variable value. Irrespective whatever programming language you are studying. So what have we written? A. But what will you read? No, you will not read E. You will read 10. So you will read this as 10 plus 20 is how much? So the right hand side gets evaluated. You get a single figure, and this 30 is then stored on the in the variable on the LHS. So this 30 goes over here, right? So can the garbage and 30 both stay together? Any at any given point of time, only one single data can be there. So if there was garbage, there was no value, and if there is value, there won't be any garbage, right? Okay, understood this, right? Now let me take it to a more further level. Now if I say A plus 100, if I say A plus 100 means what? And if I say this 110 I want to store in B, so I will say what? Okay, so it will evaluate the RHS first. It will evaluate the RHS first. So A means read the value of A. 10. 10 plus 100 is 110 will be stored in which variable? So it will go in B. So will there be 20 over there now? 20 will be removed because at a time only one. So it will not add 110 to the 20. 20 will be removed, flushed. Okay. Whatever existing value will be flushed. Getting this? Now let me stay one more. B plus 500. How much? 610. I want to put in B. So what will I say? Getting it? It's simple. The concept is simple. Yeah, the concept remains the same. Principle remains the same. Evaluate the RHS and put it in the variable of the LHS. Now what is it is doing B? What is the value of B? 110 plus 500 means how much? Put it in which variable? On the LHS. Which is it? B. So what goes over here now? And the 110, does it become 720 or does it become 610? This 110 will be flushed. This logic. Okay, so here what you have, the same variable on the LHS and RHS, right? With an extra operator. What are we doing? So we are telling take the existing value of B and add to it 500, correct? So existing value was 110. Yes or no? Okay, if I want to make A as 100, I want to make A as, how will I do that? A plus goes in goes into, correct. So see, this is an expression. What is this? It has a equal to, correct. And on the RHS, this is a variable. And what is 90? 90 is a constant, right? 90 is 90 universally. So we are into this part. On the RHS, you can have a variable and constant, correct? I can also have like this, A equals to 10 plus 20. What is this? Which part? Constant and constant. I can also do like this, C equals to A plus B, which is this part, variable and variable. Last one, right? So on the RHS, you can have any permutation, but on the LHS, you will always have variable. So now, how will you read this? So what is the value of A? What happens over here then? What does it become? What does it become then? What does it become? 100. 100 goes into which variable? So I am taking the current value of it and adding 190 to it, correct? So this can also be written as A plus equal to 90. So these are the assignment operators. These are what? Your assignment operators. So here you can have equal to as your assignment operator because you're assigning the value, right? So you can have equal to, you can have plus equal to, you can have minus equal to, you can have multiply equal to, you can have divide equal to, you can have mod equal to in any permutation. Okay. Okay. Now I want to put 10 in 30. What I want to put over here in C, I want to put 10. So how will I do that? So I can do C divide equal to 3. Correct? Getting it? So whatever is in C will be divided by 3. So what it becomes? 10. And the 30 will be flushed. Got this? Clear? And then in programming you have two machines. Like how we have a juicer machine in the kitchen. There is a machine, juicer machine, right? So what that machine does is you give to it some fruit and it will give you the liquid. It will just convert that solid to liquid and give it to you, right? So let's say this is that juicer. It has the input that it will take some input and it will give you some output, right? So if I give it orange, then okay, this is the juicer. Okay. Similarly, in programming also you will have these two machines. Okay, I will just name it to you, name them to you. Let me cut this also. They are divide by 10 and mod by 10. What are they? Any guesses what these machines do? No, I'm asking divide by 10 explicitly, not any other number. So I will call, I'll show you. Okay, so these two are there. One is divide by 10 and the other is mod by 10. Okay. So what divide by 10 does is, if I give any number to it, any number, if I give 1, 2, 3 to it, okay, okay, let's come to mod by 10 first. That is easy to understand. Mod by 10, what it will do is, mod by 10, not mod by 9, not mod by 8, explicitly mod by 10. It will give you the last digit of that number. What will it give you? Okay, so if I say 1, 2, 3 mod 10, will give me how much? And how it is working, you have to go back to the third standard division, which you were taught in third standard. So just don't do this on the calculator, you will not get the output. You have to fall back on this method, the primitive method of division. So if I say 123 divided by 10, how was it? 10 goes outside the denominator, numerator goes inside. And what happens? 10, 12s are 120. And what is the remainder? So you know mod always gives you the remainder, right? So what is 123 mod with 10? 3. Okay, what is 7788 mod with 10 now? If I pass this number to the, it will give me 8, correct? And similarly, if I give this number to the divide, 123 divide by 10, it will eat up the last digit and give me the remaining. What will it give me? 12. This is the difference. Got it? So what is 7788 divided by 10? Correct. 7788, and if I pass it to the divide by 10 machine, what am I expecting output as? Got it? So only 1 8, sorry, only 1 8, because the last digit will be eaten up by the machine. And now if I pass this 778 to the machine, then and if I pass the 77 to the machine, then and if I pass only the 7 to the machine, then 0. Getting it? So like this, these operators you should be comfortable with. So clear with assignment operators? Understood, right? What are assignment operators? So you have various flavors of assignment operators. So okay, now let's try to do this now. So let's try to say mod equal to. Let's try to use mod equal to. So now if I say C mod equal to 2, what is the answer? Yes, it is 0, correct? Because C mod with 2 means what? 10 mod with 2. So, so 10 mod with 2 means 2 will come here, 10 will come here. And what will we have? 2 5 is a 10, and the remainder will be. So like this we can play around with the operators. Okay, then we have third category as logical operators. What are the logical operators? And, or, and not. What is and what are the symbols for and in C? And, or, and not, exclamation. What does and, or, and not do? Not will reverse the condition. Not will reverse the condition. Not will reverse the condition. So not what it will do is it will just reverse the condition. So if I have a and which I call it as ampersand ampersand. So what this does is to any input, if to any condition there are multiple inputs, let's say there are three inputs A, B and C. If to a condition there are multiple inputs, when will that condition be true? When will the condition be true? There are multiple conditions. So there are three conditions A, B and C. A, B, C conditions are there. So when will, so A is true, okay, B is true and C is true. Then what is the output of AND? This is the AND of, this is the AND one. So true, true and true. So what is the output? So true, true and true. So our output will be, what if any one condition is false? So this is the logic of AND, right? So if this becomes false, anyone becomes false, then it will become. What is the logic for OR? Yeah, in OR, if even one is, even if one is, this is the notation for OR, the symbol. It's just above the enter keyboard, enter keystroke. So if I have multiple inputs to this OR, so A, B and C, and there will be an output. So what if A is true, B is true and C is false? Now, what if it is true and false, false? Now what will be the output is going to be true, because in OR even if one is true, output is true, correct? And in NOT it is just the reverse. If the input is true, it will become false. If it is false, it will become true. NOT will just reverse the condition. Yeah, NOT will just reverse the condition. So if to a NOT I pass input as true, it will give me false, and vice versa. True will make it false. Okay, so these were the logical operators we wanted to discuss. So now what is left? Okay, this is very interesting. Conditional operator. Have you heard of operator called question mark colon? Seen this? So this is called as a conditional. It is also called as ternary operator. What it is called as? Ternary operator. It is also, so what this operator does is it evaluates for a condition. Okay, it evaluates for a condition, and if that condition is true or false, right? Condition will either be true or false, right? So whenever you evaluate a condition, it will have only two outcomes. Either that condition can be true or it can be false. So let's, the green follow the true channel and the red follow the false channel. So every condition will have two outcomes. So we can execute set of statements based on each condition. So what to do if the condition is false? Do these set of statements. And what statements to execute when condition is true? Execute these set of instructions. And afterward again it goes and mutually joins back after the condition is over. it again joins back to the program flow continues. So once the condition is executed, it again comes back to a mutual area. Right? So here you have the join, and then the program continues from here, right? So we have to check for a condition. So if the condition is true, it goes on to which route, and if condition is false, it goes into this route, correct? So this is your traditional if flow chart for a if condition. So if I say integer a is 10 and integer b is 20 and I want to print the greater number, what will I check? A greater than b. If it becomes true means printf percentage d is greater, that is a, right? Percentage d is greater, that is a, and if it is false, then is greater b. So if I have to write a program for this, it will be something like this: if a greater than b, then do this statements. Percentage d is greater a. So this is very lengthy sort of code for one single task. So this same can be achieved using the ternary operator. How we can do that? So we can say after this, after a and b, after you have given a is 10 and b is 20, you can just say integer c, take a variable c and say check for a greater than b. What is the condition we are checking for? What is the condition we are checking? Yeah, if it is true, put a in c, put a on the LHS, and if it is false, put b on the LHS. And then we can just printf c is greater, because is greater, which is c. So this looks much more cleaner. So this is your ternary operator. So check for a condition, that is a question mark means check, and then if it is true, put the left of the colon in C in the LHS, and if it is false, put the right of the colon in the LHS. Okay, now tell me what will go into LHS? Okay, now what will go in LHS currently? Is A greater than B, true or false? No, false, right? False. So B goes into C. So what goes into C? 20. And you will say 20 is greater. If I change it to 120, now is A greater than B? True. So A, which is what? 100 will go into C, and I will say 100 is greater, correct? I'll just show it to you how this works. So where are we? Let me open up my programming window. Are you able to see my screen? Okay, so now we will just replace all this with this simple code, and you should say now what is the output you are expecting? 100 is greater, correct? What happened? There is no semicolon after B. Okay, and if I make it 10 now, okay, we can pass this whole over here also. No need to use the extra variable, directly pass it over here. So it will evaluate this, and whatever is coming will be put at the percentage D. Okay, got it? So you can save on extra variables. So try to minimize the usage of variables. If ever not required, you can directly put the formula over there also. And if you were going to the by the long way, then how would that be? If greater than B, then printf so same task, but this is much more lengthy. So better we can use a ternary operator in such situations, correct? Okay, so we've covered most of the operators and expressions. Now we can go into, and we also covered conditional statement if else, right? Then let's also do nested if else then. As we are into if else, let's check for nested if else. What nested if else does is it checks for the first condition. If it is true, it executes the statement, and if it is false, then it goes and checks for the next. So it doesn't execute a statement, it goes and checks for the next condition. It checks for one more condition. Like this. If not, so for every condition we have two outcomes, right? Either true or false. So similarly here also we'll have two outcomes now. Let me draw it cleaner. So what nested if else does is it first checks for a condition. If it is true, it executes a set of instructions. So execute these instructions. If it is false, then it will again check for another set of instructions. It will again check for another condition. If that condition is true, then execute this set of instructions. Yeah, execute set of instructions. And if this second condition also is false, then it goes and checks for the third condition. Like this, keeps on going in loop. Not a loop exactly, but it checks for multiple conditions. And if this condition is true, execute this instruction, and in the last we will give a set of instructions which will be executed when all the conditions are false. So at the end, if neither the first condition is true, nor second is true, nor third is true, then execute these conditions. So this becomes your nested else. And after this you will exit, after this you will exit, after this you will exit, and after this also you will exit. The program will, the condition will break, and you will exit, and the remaining code continues to execute. So this is the junction, and the remaining code keeps continuing after this. Okay, so like you send someone to buy a t-shirt for you, so you ask first, get me a red one. So is red available? So if red is available, then you will ask the salesperson, is a red t-shirt available? If it is available, it can be true or false. Either it is there, either it is not there. What if it is there? Buy red. If it is not there, you tell him, okay, if red is not there, check for blue. So when will he check for blue? Yeah, so when red is so you are asking first, is red available? They say no. Then you will check for is blue available. So they say yes, blue is available. Then buy blue. And if is blue also is not available, then we check for green. So when will we check for green? When blue is not available. So is green available? So yes. So buy green. And if no, then if no, then you tell him give my cash back. Please give me the money back. So we are assured that either we'll get a T-shirt or we'll get our money back. Correct? So in the first instance, if he gets red available, if he says yes, red is available, then what to do? And we will say thank you. Directly you will say thank you, right? Then we will not ask for others. So this is your, the session is coming to an end. We'll rejoin on the same meeting room. Okay. So now if I have to do the programming of this. So now if I want to find maximum of three numbers, which number is maximum? So how will we do that? So we will check if A is greater than B and A is greater than C. So we will say A is greater. So if A is greater than B and A is greater than C means A is greater. Else, so it will go in else when this condition is false. Then again put a and put a new condition. Now check for B. Check for B. So if B is greater than A and B is greater than C, then we will say who's greater? B. And if in the end without checking any condition, we will say printf. Yes. So it will go in the else if it doesn't go in either of this. If it goes into this, so okay, here if I want to print thank you, I'll print thank you over here, right? So now if I say A is 10, B is 20 and C is 30, it will go in which condition? Is A greater than B? False. Is A greater than C? False. False and false will be evaluated to false. The entire will be evaluated to false. So we'll come here, go in else. Is B greater than A? True. Greater than C? False. True and false will also evaluate to false. Both are false. If so, condition will always be to a if. Condition will always be associated to a if. Else will not have a condition. If else wants to add a condition, it has to add a if. So as there is no if over here, it will by default go over here and say C is greater. 30 is greater, correct? Thank you. So now if I give you a assignment, note it down, okay? So I want you to note this assignment down. I'll open Notepad++ for you. There is a modeling what do you say? Audition going on. What is going on? You see my now? Okay, so I want to you to do this in two phases. Okay, so I want you to do this program in two part. Part one, single gender. Okay, so and gender is male. We are just sticking to the male, that only male that are coming for the audition. So gender is hard coded male. Okay, then we have attributes such as the height, weight, and the waist size. Okay. So if you are aspiring model, your height should be greater than 6 feet, right? Or equal also will do. If someone is equal to 6 feet, will also. So you will accept the height in. Okay, let's take it in 183 centimeters. Let's take in centimeters. So your height should be greater than or equal to. Okay, waist we will take in inches. Weight we will take in kgs. So should be 70 less than or equal to 20 kgs. Okay, and waist should be less than or equal to 32 inches. So you while entering the data, please ask the user to enter the data in the respective units. Okay, so ask him, please enter height in centimeters, we enter age in kgs, and okay, if a person fulfills these conditions, then only he is eligible for modeling, else not. Okay, this is part 1. Then coming to part 2. Okay, what is nepotism? Yeah, so star kid. So you will ask user to enter his height. Okay, so either he will come on merit. So this is on merit, he will be selected, right? So either he will be selected on merit if he fulfill these criteria, or if he doesn't fulfill this criteria, and if he is a star kid, yes, he will be selected. Yes, no, maybe. So if someone comes and says I am 140 centimeter and I am 110 kgs and I am 48-inch waist, my father is a star? Yes. What do you say? Selected or non-selected? Yeah. So you have to consider this in the second part. Okay. So this is a parameter we have added. And third, I want you to cater to gender also. Okay. I want you to cater to the gender also. Okay. Male, female, both will come. So you'll ask for the gender also. This is the criteria for the males, right? And this is the criteria for the female. Of selection criteria for the females, we will keep it like this. Height should be greater than 170 centimeters. Weight should be 55 and waist should be 26. Getting it? Third scenario. And the fourth scenario, I want male, female with star kid. Getting it? This should keep you busy for today. And no need to take star kid in the third scenario. And part 4 is male, female plus. Okay, so I want you to send me 4 different programs and I will enter data in any permutation and it should give me the correct output. So this will gauge your understanding of conditional statements. This will gauge your understanding of loops, logical operators, everything. Okay, this is single. Okay, then take another simple example. So accept the length and breadth. Okay, calculate the area of a room. Okay, if that area exceeds 500, if area exceeds, it's a big room, 500 square feet, it's big room, else it is small room. Very simple. Okay, this should not take more than 1 minute for you to solve. But I just want to check on the condition, loops and all that stuff. This is only one single loop we'll have to provide. Okay, and I'll send you some more assignments on this. Hmm. Okay, let me put it in one frame for you then. Is it okay now? Done, right? And second is relatively very simple. Okay, so this was there. Then have you heard of switch case? Okay, okay. Let's discuss that also. So how switch case works is, let's say to let's say this is a society, a building which has an overhead water tank, right? And to this overhead water tank, there's some sort of societies which have bungalow colonies also, and they have one common overhead tank in the premises which supplies water to all the bungalows. So yeah, so this is bungalow number one, bungalow number two, and bungalow number three, right? And they all are getting supply of water from this common overhead tank, right? So let's say there is a cut at each end over here. So, and then there is also one pipe which goes to the garden, extended, and this supplies water to the garden. Okay. So this pipeline is open over here. So, and this is the garden. It supplies water over there. So someone puts a gold ring over here. What ring? So this gold ring can either go to house A, or can go to house B, or can go to house C, or if it doesn't go to any of the house, it goes to the garden, right? So this is what the logic of switch case is. So if I tell you that we need to do a software for Vodafone, and we have to ask the user as he calls to choose his preferred language, and we give him the menu that if you want to talk to us in English, you press 1, and if you want to talk to us in Hindi, you press 2, and if you want to talk to us in regional language, you press 3. Okay, so then we ask the user to enter his choice. Enter your choice. So whatever language he prefers, like, so whenever we hear the IVR, so we enter 1, 2, or 3, right? So I scan that and I take it in a variable called and choice, right? Printf scanf. Okay, so now if you wish to talk in Hindi, what will you enter? 2. So 2 will come in which variable now? So now you always remember this. Always remember the jar stuff. So you have one variable by the name choice, and in that what is there? 2, right? You enter 2, because when you ask for a choice, you enter 2 over there. So now what we will do is we will switch this 2. So now how many options do I have? The user, he can enter. So I will make a case for each of the option type. So case 1. So what will the case 1 say? You have chosen, right? as your default language. And once I display this, after every case you will put a break. You will put a, so it doesn't go to the next case. The case ends over there. Okay, if it doesn't enter one, what does next? We put all the choices over here. Put all the options over here. We have now 3 options. Then you will say here, and third, right? And if you enter 0, 7, 8, 9, 10, then it goes into default. Then it goes into which case? And there you can say printf, please enter valid choice. So default is the garden. Default is the, it doesn't, the ring doesn't go to any of the house, it will go to the garden. Okay. So switch means you give all the possible cases what can come, and then if it doesn't come into any of those cases, it will go to the default. So here what was the expected output I was expecting? 1, 2 or 3. So I make a case for each of the output. So whatever the user can enter, you put a case for each of them. So it is just like nested if else. If this same task were to be done using nested if else, how we could accomplish this, the same task? So the same task we would have done if choice equal to 1, then what to do? Preferred language set to English. Okay, blah blah blah. Then if not 1, then check for, choice is equal to 2. Then preferred language set to Hindi. If not that, then check if it is, then last we'll have a else, invalid option. Invalid, right? Invalid, whatever. So now you have two things, 2 ways of doing the same task, right? So when do you choose what? So if you have discrete values like 1, 2, 3, what is 1, 2, 3? They are discrete values, right? No, they are discrete values 1, 2, and 3. So if you have discrete values, you choose your switch case, and if you have range values, if you have what? So if you say choice is between 1, if choice is greater than 1 and choice is less than 10, in such cases you can stick to your nested if else. Now we are looking for a range, right? If you have to check between a range and then execute, then use nested if else. And if you have discrete values 1, 2, 3, what are they? Discrete values, right? So if you have gender, so how many genders do we have? M, F, and now T also. So if you have to do programming for that, so for the male, issue this message, for the female, issue this message, and for the transgender, issue this message. So what will you use? Switch or nested if else? Because these are what discrete values, correct? And if you have range values, so that if the age is between 13 to 19, tell you are a teenager. If age is between 20 to 30, you are a youngster. Then what will you use? Nested if else. Okay, so they do the same task, but just check the occasion. So if you're, so here what will you enter? Will you enter range value? That for English enter single digit, for Hindi enter double digit, for Marathi enter triple digit, like this you will enter. So like, so you got a difference when to use which. So they do the same task more or less, just depending on the situation, the case can vary. Okay. And when you have limited options, no, you use your switch case. When you have what? Limited options. So 1, 2, 3 are limited, correct? So if you are doing a traffic signal, what all colors do we have? Red, yellow. So for this, what is ideal? Switch case. But when you have unlimited options, then you can use your, or you have a range of options, then you can use nested if else. Okay. So I'll send some assignments to do on these tasks: nested if else, switch case, conditional statements. Okay. One I've already given it to you. So you can solve it and then send it by today evening. Okay. Okay then.